Coaching, it does come easily to me. I am a people person and I do love people, and I love helping people. I want to be able to help and change things. I hate seeing people in pain or struggling. You just want to fix it.
Welcome to An Entrepreneur's Vibes, the podcast that gives insight into the minds of visionary entrepreneurs and business leaders. Brought to you by The Right Direction, a leading professional and technical writing company based in North America. Each episode, we explore stories and experiences of those who dared to dream, took the leap, and built their own empires. So if you're just starting your entrepreneurial journey or you're already a seasoned business pro, you'll find inspiration, knowledge, and good vibes right here. Our guest today's journey is a testament to resilience and determination. From the challenges of early motherhood to navigating the complexities of life, she has emerged stronger and more focused, channeling her experiences into empowering others. As a certified life coach, our guest offers personalized one-on-one programs designed to help clients achieve their goals, whether it's a fulfilling career, a thriving relationship, or improved health. Today, we'll explore her entrepreneurial journey and uncover the wisdom and inspiration of a true visionary in the worlds of life coaching and personal development. Welcome to the podcast, Chantelle Dodd.
Hi everyone, I'm really happy to be here.
We're so happy to have you. How are you doing? How's it like there in the UK? What's the weather like?
The weather is the UK weather, like it always is. To be honest, today hasn't been such a bad day. It hasn't rained, and the sun comes in and out, so it's not been such a bad day.
All right, not too bad. So, how's your day look like? You are a business owner and you have a family. How do you balance all these like big responsibilities? What does a day in the life of Chantel look like?
It's quite a busy schedule that I have. So it's obviously balancing work and balancing raising the children. So typical day would look like getting Joseph off to school. So he's my 7-year-old, so he's the one that who still needs that hands-on time. The rest are all teenagers, so they kind of look after themselves. And then, doing all the business things that I need to do, the different projects that I'm working on. Getting into that, and then getting him from school, doing all the bits that I need to do with him. So it's quite full on, but I love it.
It's a packed day. So tell us, Chantel, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers and listeners would love to know how you got started from your journey. How was it like being a young mother and then to become like your own business owner, your own boss? How did that journey look like for you?
I think for me, yeah, it wasn't planned to be such a young mother. It happened at quite a time where there was quite a lot going on. I'd lost my mother quite quickly. She got poorly and we ended up losing her. And then I got pregnant quite quickly and I was only 15. So it was quite a lot. And then I quickly grew a family at that young age. So by the time I was 20, I had 3 children. And it was quite a lot to actually, get through with. But then as I got older, I started venturing into different things. So I was always had that entrepreneurial brain. I always had different business ideas. So I had like a recruitment agency when the children were young, for childcare. I trained as a beautician, and then I had a beauty salon. And then I created a mobile business with the beauty as well. I've always been doing something, but at the same time, I've also had a career as well. So that was always in property. Um, and that I grew within that. So getting to where I am now with this business, and how this one was born, was I hit a point in my life where everything just like came crashing down, and you name it, everything went wrong. Relationship, finances, job, everything, mental health, the lot. I hit rock bottom, and I started a healing journey, and went through a whole program with a healer, and that just turned my life around. It was like a miracle how I was able to just spin everything back but into a better position. So a new start. And once I had actually learned the gift of that, I was like, God, I've got to like give this to everybody. So this is how this business was born. Yeah.
Wow, that's fascinating. I mean, you've basically started so many other business models in the past, but this is the one that stuck. How did you even
Yeah.
find that healer? How was that process like for you?
For me, I was like literally at work one day and I started talking to a work colleague who's now like a really good friend of mine. And she was the one that got me into all of this because prior to that, I wasn't spiritual or anything like that. I would just rubbish it. And she was like, she is at the moment and at the time, she was a holistic healer. So she was like, come work with me and let's see. So I was like, yeah, at that point, I was like, I'll try anything to make things better. And I literally went with her and started the sessions. And from there, I then went on to another healer that she recommended as well. And that's what flipped everything and changed everything. And I was in like a new world of just like woo woo and magic. It was just, yeah, amazing.
That explains some of the services that you also help your clients with, like the EFT technique, which I'll ask more about later on. But I mean, now that we're talking about it, why is it called Let's Find You Academy? How did that whole business model start for you? What was the initial vision behind it?
It was literally, so I was like, I want to create something that is going to help people. I want to help everyone, is how I feel. Like I want to be able to help the whole world. And so with that, that's how it grew, how it was born. And I was like, what am I going to call it? Let's Find You, because the whole purpose of the program is to find who you truly are, to be who it is that you want to be, or achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. So, whatever someone is suffering with or struggling with, it's working with them to be able to overcome that. So it then puts them in a place where then they're taking the steps to be able to achieve whatever it is that they want to achieve.
That is a lot. And I mean, you say that you have a very packed day on your day to day. Like, what was it like building a new entire business, having a career on the side, plus taking care of your children? What were like the challenges that you had to overcome to be where you are right now?
It's trying to find more hours in the day that we have. It's trying to magic these new hours to try and do it. But yeah, I think it's time, and it's trying to manage the time and have consistency and creating a routine where you are able to give to everything that you have going on. Because we can do whatever it is that we want to do. It's just putting our minds to it to be able to do it. So I found it quite challenging is finding more time than I already had to be able to, put into everything.
That in itself is like magic. I mean, everyone else just has 24 hours in a day, but I guess when you have a lot of hats that you have to wear and a lot of responsibilities, you have to, find every bit of time that you can in order to do everything. And I salute you to that. I mean, you sound like a really amazing person. But was
Oh,
coaching something that came naturally to you? I mean, would you say that you're a people person? Do you even like talking to people and like guiding them through their own like hardships?
I do, I do. I don't, to be honest, I never in my life thought to myself, I want to be a coach. I never, like, this literally, like, was like destined. It was like destiny for me, but I didn't, it was nothing that like, when I was little, I was like, I want to be a teacher, which probably is the same thing because I am teaching, but like in a school setting, that's what I wanted to do. But, yeah, no, coaching, it does come easily to me. I am a people person and I do love people and I love helping people. I think it's the empath in me. It's, I want to be able to help, and change things. I hate seeing people in pain or, struggling. You just want to fix it. So, yeah.
I resonate with something you said earlier that it all starts with the mind. Like you have to believe it in your mind. You have to see the vision in your mind for it to become a reality. So, what do you say to your clients? Like, how important is mindset play in overcoming life's obstacles? And how do you help your clients develop a healthy and positive mindset?
It's like really sitting down with that person and really it's talking about what it is that they want. Okay. And then it's listening to what they're saying afterwards surrounding that issue. And that's where you understand where their mindset is at. And that's where you can pick up as to what is holding them back because it's the way that they think. So, it's working out the fear around it, it's working out how the mindset is, it's working out, are they coming from a victim mentality, or are they coming from a place where, they want to go and just achieve it and they're able to do it. It's understanding where they're at. Are they sitting in quite a negative space, and then it's like, pulling them, pulling those things out of the mindset and getting it on a place where they are able to go forward and achieve. So it's doing the mindset work, is and going into that subconscious as to what is stored there and clearing it so you can rewrite it so they're able to achieve what it is that they want to achieve. And that does take time, but with commitment you can do it. So many people have done it and achieved so much. So it's just working on it to be able to flip it on its head so you can think differently and you'll get different results.
I think
Yeah.
a big part of that is admitting to yourself sometimes that you may be participating in a lot of toxic behaviors yourself, right? In order to heal, you have to make that like a diagnosis, right? In order for you to know what the type of medication to take. What do you think is the importance of taking accountability in the context of personal development, and why do you think that's like crucial for someone to start their healing journey?
Yeah, that is the one of the most massive part of the journey is actually realizing, it's actually me, you know, it's actually how
Sometimes.
I think, it's what I'm doing, I'm the problem. So it's fixing that to be able to, you know, once you're able to be honest with yourself, then you can start making those changes. But if you're going to walk into something and you decided to do a journey like this, and you're very in that victim place and you're not willing to move or nudge or take any responsibility, you're not going to be able to change anything because you can't see it for yourself. So it's really important, really important.
I feel like that is a very hard thing to do, right? It's one thing to say, just admit. So sometimes you are the problem as well. So I feel like sometimes and you can tell me if this happens to you, might have clients that think it's just like a one session and it's a done. It's
Yeah.
one and done, right? But like you said, it's a process, and sometimes it takes a long time. So usually when people come to you first, what advice do you usually give them, especially if they're going through like significant personal hardships and feeling stuck in their journey?
I think it's it's giving them a safe space to start off with, to be able to really be honest with what is happening, because it is a sensitive thing for anyone to be able to have to really, talk about things that aren't going so well, and are causing big issues in their life that they're not happy about. So it's giving them that safe space first, and getting them, if they're committed to this, it's not even getting them, it's if they're committed to this, then they are going to be willing to really open up and really look at themselves and the situation to be able to change it and be able to accept that, some, whatever it is, they can they can accept it, but they're willing to change it. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Absolutely. And have you had clients who initially started to, start their healing journey, but didn't stay motivated, didn't stay committed?
I've had that happen. And that's quite a common thing. Sometimes we're not ready to really look at ourselves. So people don't tend to be able to really properly commit. Um, but that does happen a lot. It does. Um,
And yeah, I mean, throughout everyone you've like met during the time you've had Let's Find You Academy, what have been like the common obstacles that people face when they're trying to manifest their desires, and how can they overcome their fear? What are their usual problems, you would say?
yeah, so for them to be able to overcome, it is like you said, it is the fear. It's the fear factor. It's something new. It makes them feel it puts you in that uncomfortable position because you're coming out of that comfort zone, aren't you? So you're like, I'm not used to this. It would be really easy to just sit back with what I know, then push myself forward to what I really want. Like it's an uncomfortable process to go through, but it's like it's guiding the person, it's going to be okay, because that fear is a good sign that it's there, because it's showing you that you're on the right path. Because if it's not going to take you properly out of what it is that you need to step into that. So yeah, it's just it can be an uncomfortable process because
And
that
I
becomes.
mean, yeah, and to do it with a stranger at that, right? I feel like if you can't even be honest with yourself, it's like an extra step to trust someone to, I feel like you can kind of say healing starts outside of your comfort zone. Like sometimes the things that you find comfort in might not actually be good things for you. And if you want good and new things to come into your life, you have to let go of some of the baggage, right, that you're currently holding, because otherwise you can't make space, right? Like
Yeah.
you have a lot of hats. You probably can't add another one unless you take out another hat, right? Because you're already loaded with all these responsibilities. So I guess that's kind of the same thing. You got to let go of something to gain something. And that's what I
Yeah.
guess the process is like. Well, could you tell me a little bit about some of the entrepreneurial challenges that you faced when you were starting Let's Find You Academy? How did you overcome them?
I think for me, I'm a very much a person of I just expected it to just happen now. So I expected to just start the business and it just happened now. Um, and it didn't. And it was finding patience, which is one of my issues I lack a little bit of. Um, I think other things are, doing things. You create projects within the business, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't work. And that can be it can be very frustrating and sometimes disheartening, but it's all learning, and it's just knowing that, yeah, just because one project didn't work, another one will work. It's guiding you to the right place that you need to be in the business. So it's, those type of challenges I find are the hardest, because you put your everything into it and you just expect it to work, and sometimes it doesn't. So, it's not it's guiding you into another place that's better for the business when you have projects that don't work out as well as what you would hope they would have done.
That's really great advice. Be realistic when you start a project and don't always expect that it'll go your way. Well, that's a really great tip. And what else would you have to say to someone who is starting their own business but is feeling overwhelmed by the process?
This is what I do. Just sit back and write everything down that you are overwhelmed with the business, because sometimes it happens to everyone. It happens to me. I'll be like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to be doing this, I need to be doing that, and then I end up sitting in a space where I'm like, I actually don't know, I actually can't do anything because I have put too many things on my plate to be able to do with the business. So I always say, sit back, list everything, and then just create a plan. So you have like an organized diary, so you know that you've got allocated time to what it is that you need to do within the business, whether it's like content planning, whether it's like working on programming, whether it's working on marketing, whether it's working on, the website, whatever it may be, just make steps to each part. Don't overwhelm yourself with everything needing to be done at that moment, because that's very easy to happen when you start a new business, because everything needs to be set up to get the business off the ground. Those are the foundations, but sometimes you can overwhelm yourself with trying to get things in order.
I
Yeah.
resonate with that. Yeah. Making lists definitely like make it a little less overwhelming because you can see every step and then now you can visualize actually how to get there to your goal. So, how about advice for other life coaches that want to get started? Maybe they've also finished their healing journey, they want to help others, but maybe they don't know what it takes to have their own business that helps people. Like maybe they don't know where to find clients, they don't know how to market themselves. So, what advice would you give to aspiring life coaches out there?
Yeah, I definitely would say find a good mentor, one. To find other life coaches that inspire you and follow them as well. And then, to get started, work out what it is that you want out of your business and how it is that you want to create it. So is it, what type of business are you going to hold? How are you going to teach it? How are you going to, provide a service? What type of service are you going to provide to your clients? And then start building your business based on that. But put a plan in place first. So create that business plan as to knowing where it is and what direction the business is going in. So you can keep going back to it to be able to keep building the business that you want. So you have the right direction with it or where you want to go with it. But yeah, I would definitely say, yeah, get a mentor. Because that really, really helps, learning from someone else that has already created that successful business that you want.
If and when you do have clients that say, well, my problem is I want to advance in my career, but I don't know how to, I'm not getting promoted, or maybe they come and say, I want to start a business and don't know like how to start. I want to get out of my corporate job and start something myself. What would you say are like the key strategies that you teach these people so that they can finally get to a place where they feel like they can finally get that promotion? They feel like they can finally become a business owner.
It's working with them to find out, what it is that they're thinking. So it's all in the mind. So it's looking at, is there any limiting beliefs within them that is holding them back? Because more often than not, that is what it is. And that is why they're not able to get to where they want to get to. There's a blockage there because of how they're thinking and feeling towards it. So it's working through that, why they're feeling that way, working through the fear that they have of what could be holding them back. Like it could be, for instance, oh, if I leave my job, then I won't have any money because, I'm going to be starting a business. It's working through all these things, and looking at what that business will bring you, or, if you're working your way up the career ladder and you're not able to do it, what is holding you back? How are you thinking and feeling? Because this is what's playing out in your reality. So until you work through that, you're going to keep creating the same reality because nothing changed. So it's having to do that inner work and looking at how it is that you are actually thinking and feeling towards whatever it is that you want to achieve, whether it's the business or the career.
One of your services that you offer at the Let's Find You Academy is teaching people how to start their own podcast. Would you
Yeah.
have any tips? Maybe we have listeners, or maybe for me, tips that you have for someone who wants to start their own podcast or build their own successful platform?
So I have like a mini course, but it actually covers everything, from what equipment you need, to the different types of places to create and being able to publish it. So it's like step by step, explaining on how to be able to create that podcast. So my podcast, it took me, I'm going to be honest with this, it took me a little while. I kept hitting a brick wall with it. It was like I did a few courses on it, like I invested in different people to learn how to make the podcast, and then I would go and do it and it just wouldn't work. So I kind of ended up just finding it on my own, even after investing. And that's how I managed to create mine. So any tips that I would give is just be yourself. Like, just be yourself on the podcast. That's what people want to hear, and that's what they're gonna invest in. They're investing in you. So just be yourself and enjoy it. Talk about whatever you want to. Yeah,
I
it's your
love
podcast.
that. So anyone who wants to start their own podcast, I'll definitely link your website down below so they can find everything they would need from you. I think a lot of our viewers are already getting like the best advice from you, and we're just, this is like a free course for them. So this is
Oh,
amazing. Well, talking about like the company that you've built, what would you say have been the most rewarding aspect of your work?
I think it's when I see my clients succeed.
Hmm.
That is the most rewarding. So I'm like, yeah, did it. That is the whole point. That is what I love seeing. I love receiving messages from different people as well, reaching out, about, the stuff that I teach, what I post. I love all of that, and I know it's growing and it's helping people. So that's what makes me happy with the business, definitely.
Amazing. And you have on your website like a 6-step program that you use, I guess, as a technique to help your clients. Could you walk us through that 6-step program for manifesting the life one desires?
Yeah, so step one is really simple. You just join the academy, okay? Step two is looking at that goal, whatever it is that you want. So could be you want a new career, for instance. So then it's like looking at what it is that you truly want. Then it's like looking at what it is that you don't want right now in your life. So, what is it that's not making you happy? So you know what you want, but what is it that you're settling for that's not serving you? Then it's looking at the limited beliefs, your mindset surrounding it, and looking at putting what steps would need to be put in place, but what we need to do before that. So then that moves into the transformational work. So that's working on the limited beliefs and working on the mindset and working on your energy. So doing different things, like you mentioned before, emotional freedom technique, that is like one of the things, the tools that we use within the program. Different mindset works, to be able to hack the subconscious as well. And then the final step is the manifestation. So what it is that you wanted coming to your reality. And you're like, yeah, I did it. And I'm a better person for
I
it.
love that. So something that really caught my eye too on your website is the part where you were saying you can help people change their money story. For some of the viewers we have out there who might not understand what that means, like, can you explain to us what it means to change one's money story and how can that impact your financial success?
Yeah. Okay. So changing your money story. So my financial life has been a very up and down when it comes to money. And I can never understand it, why it was like that. So part of my healing journey was actually looking at my own relationship with money. And by me looking into that and understanding what it was, what limiting beliefs I had surrounding that, or my, what, feelings and emotions I had towards it, and, generational type things as well, where the beliefs are set in, it could be things that your parents would have said, like my parents were very kind of strict with money and we lived a comfortable life, but you'd ask for things, they'd be like, well, money doesn't grow on trees. So but these all create things within our subconscious, with our belief when it comes to money. So it's looking at that person's mindset and belief systems towards it, and anything energetical that can be in their energetic field, and working on that and removing it. So when they think about money, they think and feel differently towards it, and then that's how they're able to attract it in. It works. It's worked so many times for me. I've managed to really change my money story and make more money, just from doing that work. So it's so vital when it comes to, wanting to improve your life, the money aspect of it, you really need to work on. You really need to understand how it is that you feel towards money. Yeah,
I think that's really crazy. Like some of the limiting beliefs that you have to unlearn as an adult because they kind of bleed into everything else that you believe in your life. Like, yeah, like as simple as hearing your parents say that money doesn't grow on trees, and you think that money is hard to come by as you get older.
exactly.
Like, so you have to unlearn some of those beliefs. Sometimes the adults aren't always right. So that's like really hard.
Exactly.
It's like a big part of healing is unlearning some of the behaviors you might have gotten as a child. So I think,
Yes.
yeah, that's a really, really hard. So I just wanted to ask you too, like, because this process is not the easiest, what is like the longest client session you could have? Like how many months or maybe years that could take, would you say?
I think I think healing is for a lifetime. So there's
Mhm.
layers to this. We're like
Mhm.
onions. So you work on one layer and then you're like, oh, brilliant. Achieve what I needed to achieve. Then you start leveling up because this is all a journey. So you just keep getting better and better. But as you keep going to each level, you end up hitting another part of you that needs that work being done. So that healing work. So once you get to that stage, you just end up having another cycle to be able to clear, and then you move on to the next thing. So it's like a lifetime thing. It's not one session of healing and then boom,
Mhm.
everything's perfect. There's layers to it.
So have you had clients that you've like continuously spoken to for years and years just to like maybe like
Yeah.
keep them, on the right path?
Yeah. So, you'll work with them and you'll think you'll be working on one thing and then other things will come up within it. So then it's now you end up going in a direction you never really know where you're going to go. It's like literally with that person, it's always starting off with what it is that they want. So a certain goal that they have, and it opens up the door to be able to just heal every area of your life. So looking at like the eight pathways of life, it meddles into all. So it's a journey. It's a continuous journey, but it when you commit to yourself and you keep going, it's only going to get better. So that is the best thing that you can do in life. Otherwise, you end up just sitting stagnant, don't you?
Hmm.
Probably sitting in something you don't even want to be in.
Hmm.
Yeah, we don't want that. We want
I
everyone to be
agree.
striving, not surviving.
I totally agree. Got to be a little uncomfortable for that growth, and healing isn't linear. So I guess throughout the process, always remember to be like gentle with yourself, right? You are a healing person, so
Mm.
treat yourself as such. Well, you know what? I feel like through over the years, I've been noticing that the term manifestation has been thrown out a lot. I feel like a lot of people believe in it more. And there are many steps to manifesting. I feel like there are other very varied techniques as well. What would you say are some of the techniques that work for you or for your clients? Because I've heard you can do journaling or like visualization. So, how do you incorporate manifestation techniques into your coaching?
So for me, you can visualize, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to manifest what it is that you want. Because if you're just sitting there visualizing what it is that you want, but there's actually your belief system isn't in line with what it is that you want to bring in, it's not going to happen. So it's really doing that inner work, because as we can manifest good, we can also manifest bad. So it's really, if you want to be able to really truly capture the art of manifestation, then you really need to commit to doing that inner work to yourself. And that is how you're going to achieve it. And that's what I mean. Like it's a journey. So like you hit levels with it, you do that work, boom, manifestation comes in. You do the next bit of work, boom, next manifestation comes in, because it changes over time, our wants and our needs, but we have to be able to evolve with it. And that comes with really looking at ourselves and doing that work within, and ensuring that, we are committing to ourselves, and, you know, clearing anything that isn't serving us, to be able to bring in what it is that we do want to achieve.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I feel like people think manifestation is just like magic, that you can just like make a wish and it'll happen, but nothing happens like that. This is real life. But
Yeah.
manifestation is real. Like you can see it in your mind's eye before it even happens, but it might not come easy to a lot of people because it's one thing to know what you want, but then it's a completely other topic to do the work, right? Because you still have to work at it. Whatever you want, you can't just put it on a vision board and expect it'll happen, right? You have to like work through that. So what would you say is like that middle, like how can people get to their manifestations quicker? Like what kind of work actually does it mean to get to that goal?
I always say, so when it you find something that you want to bring into your life, so that you have that manifestation, you have to have that true belief within you that you feel worthy of it. And that comes with knowing your worth, and knowing, having that love for yourself. Because if you are if you're in a place that you're quite a negative person, yeah, but you want to bring in, I don't know, like a top of the range car, okay, into your life. So this is your manifestation, but you're quite negative. When you look at people with money or with that car, you kind of like give them a certain look, or you feel a certain negative feeling towards them. Like you just think, oh, they think they're better than me. Like that type of feeling, like that kind of negative victim mentality. If that car was to come into your life, would you really feel comfortable having that that manifestation in your life? You're not really, are you? You're going to end up repelling it in the end, because when you're seeing this and you're seeing people with it, you're not feeling a good feeling towards it. So if it was in your own life, are you really going to feel comfortable having it there? You're not. So it's not going to be served to you, because you're not on that vibrational level with what it is that you want to bring in. So that's what I mean. It's like doing that work where you're not in that negative headspace or that victim mentality, and flipping that that coin over, so you are in a good place, you do feel worthy, you do love yourself, and you do, when you look at other people, you just send love to them as well. Do you know what I mean? That's what's going to bring it in. But if you're sitting there in a bad place, you're not going to manifest it. Or if you do
Mhm.
manifest it, it's going to come with a lesson attached. So, it may come in and then it'd be taken away. And it's quite a harsh lesson that you've had to learn, but it's pushing you into that place of, you know, being a better person, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. You were saying earlier, like as easy as you can manifest something good, you can manifest something bad. So you essentially, I guess you are what you think, right? Like if you're thinking negative things, bad things will happen to you because you're like, oh, I'm just like unlucky. Then you become unlucky. There's power in words and thoughts. It's really the small things, you know? Like it sounds kind of hard to achieve, but it's really the tiniest things, how you talk to yourself, the things you do every day, if you're practicing gratitude, if you're doing good things, that'll all, just come back to you. It's simple and very like complex at the same time, would you say?
It is, but you see it all the time. You see people talk about, you see people like say, "Oh, they'll come out with a dream that they have, and then their next few sentences afterwards, they'll be just talking themselves out of it, and basically saying that that will never happen to me because I'm just not basically worth it. But it'd be worded differently. So that's what I mean. You have to have that belief that it is going to happen for you, but it's also doing that work within to make sure that you are in a good place and you are feeling worthy, you understand your worth and you love yourself enough to be able to receive what it is that you want to manifest. Yeah.
I hear you. Well, one thing that you also teach your clients is EFT or emotional freedom technique. What would you say has been the impact of this technique on your own life and your clients' lives? And maybe tell us a little about what EFT is for some of the people who might not know yet.
So EFT is emotional freedom technique. So it's done with tapping. So you tap on different energy meridians within the body, to be able to release any stagnant energy that's there, and then be able to put in a new belief in those meridians to be able to create what it is that you want to create. So EFT was one of the first healing modalities that I ever tried. And I remember when I tried it, it was actually it was really powerful. You could really feel the energy, and I think I had so much stuck energy in me. It was actually quite a painful, not like painful, but it was a bit of a painful process to go through. So I 100% like really recommend this technique. I actually have like a little program set up where you can purchase it and you can watch how, like, I teach you how to do it for like anxiety, but you can use it for different other things as well. So yeah, that technique is it's a very old modality that people have used for years and years and years, but it's really, really, really powerful. So it's like shifting that energy and getting good energy to be able to manifest what it is that you want to do. I mean, yesterday I was sitting on the tube and there was this lady in front of me, and I think she probably had anxiety with the tube because she was like doing the
Mm.
EFT in front of me, and I was like, wow, that's really powerful. It was beautiful to see. But yeah, it's 100% one of those techniques that I do recommend because it works. It really
Mhm.
works.
Do you know the science behind it? Because I know briefly, I've also interviewed before an EFT holistic healer, and she says there are certain points in the body that just like, I guess, release stress, or I think, like, is there any simple examples that you can teach us? I believe there's like maybe a point somewhere in your hand that you can press if you're feeling, like you said, anxiety, like that lady on the tube. Do you have any like quick tips that you can
Yeah,
show us if you're like feeling nervous, I guess? Something that you can do
yeah.
easily?
So the different points that you can tap on are like at the top of your head, the side of your eye, underneath your eye, above your mouth, the chin, the chest, and underneath the arm and the end of the hand. If you're ever feeling like stressed or have anxiety coming up, you can give it a good tap and then just say like a positive affirmation that is attached to the anxiety that you want to shift. or the fear that you're feeling, or the lack of something, just apply a positive affirmation as you're doing the tapping really, really quickly, just like the lady on the tube yesterday, and it will start shifting that energy.
Amazing. And do you practice this technique on yourself?
I do. It'd be different things that will come up with me. Like I could be frustrated, or I could be slipping into a place that's not very good. Like I could be starting to feel a little bit of anxiety. So I'll sit there and go through the full process of the EFT. So it's like acknowledging what is there at that time and then doing the clearing work. So acknowledging what is there, and how I'm feeling. So that would be the first step of doing the EFT if you were doing like a full session on it. And then the next step would be reinforcing something positive. So putting some positive affirmations in there once you've cleared the energy that's sitting there.
I love that. And while we're on the topic of techniques and tools, just on a personal note, what would you say are some of the affirmations that you practice, like that you maybe say to yourself in the morning before you start everything else with your kids and your job? What has worked for you?
Probably like, I am not going to shout at my children. No, not really. It would be things like, I'd look myself in the mirror and I would tell myself, I'm enough. I love you. That's a big one because it's practicing that self-love, and telling myself, you are worthy. Anything you put your mind to, it will happen. You know, Positively reinforcing a good day along with the self-love.
I love
Yeah.
that. And while we're talking about self-love, what would you say is like the role that self-care plays into your routine, and how do you incorporate that into your busy schedule? Because I mean, you work with a lot of maybe stressed out clients, so I guess you have to be the one to not be the stressed one. So, how do you practice self-care?
I have quite a routine actually. So I do get up early before the children, and I meditate. And if I'm drawn to doing any sort of journaling, I'll drop my anything that's, in my mind, just dump it in there. I'm not a big journaler. So when I'm called to it, I will do it. I will do a like different forms of like well, not different forms of meditation, but different types of meditation, and also practice a bit of yoga as well in the morning, just to move any energy that's like stuck within me. And of an evening, I'd normally read, um, and so I like to have a cut-off point in the evenings where I'm not working. Otherwise, I can be a bit of a workaholic. So I just like to unwind with reading, and I'd usually use a hypnosis as well. So whatever I'm trying to work on, I'd use a hypnosis. So like going back to the money aspect where teaching how to bring money, I'd use like a wealth wiring
Mm.
hypnosis of an evening. And I'd keep going with that hypnosis. Yeah.
I love that. I might give those a try. I always see those on like YouTube. You just play them in the background and you maybe like fall asleep. Is that how it works, right? And then it's just like
Exactly.
positive words just like seeping into your subconscious as you sleep. I think that's what makes it powerful, right? Like because
It
it taps
does.
into your subconscious
Yeah.
mind.
Exactly. And that's like really important for the mindset. So yeah, at the moment I've gone back to like using self-love at the moment, with my hypnosises. So it's just like where you're at. That's what I mean. It's a complete journey.
Mhm.
Last month you could have been focusing on something else, or last year. Now this year there's a new chapter that you need to work on. So it's like using what it is that you need at that time to be able to help you. So yeah. It's just committing to yourself, isn't it? And doing what's best.
Love that. So earlier you were saying, one of the first steps that into your healing journey with your clients is figuring out what they want, right? So before you get to anywhere, we have to realize what it is you want, right? And so we can find out what their limiting beliefs is and heal through that. So has there ever been like a situation where a client was like, maybe, oh, I want to attract love in my life. But then that turns into something else throughout the journey. They realize that, oh, it's not maybe a romantic partner that I'm seeking. During the steps, maybe people think they want one thing, but actually want another. So, what would you say is like a technique or an effective way to attract what truly belongs in your life? Not just what you want, maybe, but what you need.
I think as you go along that journey, when you start that journey, so that's what I mean, like exactly what you said. Someone may want to seek like love, for instance, they want a romantic relationship. When they start doing the work and they start really looking into themselves and really finding who they are, it finds parts of them that they probably didn't know were there or have they lost, like in childhood, for instance. So, you know, that's where they then actually find, oh, actually, this is what I want to do. Like they've unlocked a part of them because they've started finding who they truly are. Or you start doing the inner child work within the program, and then you're like, oh my God, I remember when this is what I wanted to do. It's back again. I don't want what I was thinking I wanted. I actually want to do this. And it's such a beautiful thing. And it's a natural part of the journey. You've just got to flow with it. And what is meant for you will find you. And that's what happens within this journey. Yeah.
I love that. And and if you're able, can you share one of success stories from one of your clients who has transformed their lives using your program?
I had a client who was working full time in a position that they didn't like, but they wanted to create a business. Um, but the fear of leaving the job because it had you were paid every month, there was that comfort zone there was that guarantee that you were going to get that money. And moving into the business, it was too risky. Do you know what I mean? It's like quite a fearful space. It's out of my comfort zone. So working with that client, we then were able to uncover what it was, the attachment to the role, and being able to cut those cords. Like, no, 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 this isn't like these things are not. Why are they keeping you stuck to it? Really diving deep into the subconscious, why they were thinking that way and where it had come from, and clearing it, then they were able to leave the job and start their business. And now it is building and thriving. So yeah, it can happen for anyone. You've just got to have that belief and that real commitment to want to do it and
I
just
love
push
that.
through the fear, because on the other side you'll be like, bloody hell, that was amazing. Yeah. Look
Hmm.
what I did. You'll be so proud of yourself. And I will too. Yeah.
Love that. And what message would you like to leave our listeners who are maybe looking to make a significant change in their lives, but they might not be ready yet?
I think just start exploring. Do you know what I mean? Start exploring. Come join the Let's Find You Academy. There's a good start. Is a good exploring thing. But no, explore, just start like researching and try starting to explore yourself. So do things that make you happy. Start finding you, start going back home to you. And then from there, when you start getting those good feelings and you're starting to feel yourself, you'll be able to then take those steps a little bit more easier.
Amazing. And how would do you continue to grow and learn as a coach and entrepreneur? I mean, you've started this business because there's a saying, you can't help others if you can't help yourself. And when you finally, I guess, helped yourself out of the challenges you faced early in life, now you're able to help others. So how would you continue this journey for yourself so that you will be able to keep helping others as you keep helping yourself?
I commit to my own healing journey. So I still do different things to commit to myself, to help myself elevate and keep growing so I'm able to teach more. And I also continue with, doing different trainings and things like that, working with different people, having different mentors. That's what helps me commit to keep growing, to be able to get the business to grow and to be able to help more and more people by having more and more knowledge, not only from my own personal story, but actually learning as well. So yeah, that's what I continue to keep doing. It doesn't just kind of stop here. I have the
Mhm.
business and it's like investing more in myself and the business, and that's how it grows. They grow side by side. So what I was able to provide maybe a year ago, now I can provide even more because it's more, I've been, learnt more, gone and experienced more. So it just grows and grows and grows. Yeah.
And what are your future plans for the Let's Find You Academy? Where do you see it in the next 5 years?
Helping the world. I do. That's my vision. I want to help everybody in the world that I can help.
Mhm.
Every single human being is who I want to help. I just want people to realize that they deserve more and they can have more. And it's just showing them how to be able to do that.
I
So
love
yeah.
that. And do you have mostly UK clients? Do you have international clients you've found?
Yeah, no, have international clients as well as clients in the UK. It tends to do a lot better in the States, I've noticed, I have to be
Wow.
honest. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, at the moment I get a lot of people reach out from the States. So yeah, so not only here, um, I've had different clients from different places. The podcast reaches really well, actually.
Mhm.
That tends to go worldwide. And I look at it and there's like a different country,
I
that gets
love.
added onto it. When I look at the stats and I'm like, wow, okay, so it's reaching here, and I'm not very
Hmm.
good with my geography, so I'm kind of learning that as well. See, I'm learning.
Hmm. And are there any new programs or initiatives that you'd like to share, maybe are currently underway or you're currently developing for your clients?
Yes, so I have that's nearly up and running a business course to help people create a business and where to start and how
Perfect.
to do it. And alongside it, you get the inner work as well. So you get the Let's Find You program alongside it as well. So you're able to do that inner work and create your business. So it's hand in hand. So it will just be successful, you know. And the basics of creating that business and also creating a program specifically towards people who find themselves in toxic relationships. So having an understanding of them, being able to do the inner work, and break the cycle of returning to another toxic relationship. So that is underway. And also have a book as well that
Wow.
will be on its way soon as well. Yeah.
Lots of exciting things. I love that. Well, if there's anyone who's currently trying to become an entrepreneur, you have the course ready for you at Let's Find You Academy. And I
Yeah.
think the course for leaving abusive relationships, I think that's like one that is life-saving. I feel like that's definitely something that is needed by a lot of women, not just women, even men out there who are in toxic
Yeah.
relationships, abusive relationships. That's going to be really life-changing for a lot of people. And I hope our episode reaches a lot of people and maybe hopefully you get clients from Canada or more from the United States from our
Yeah.
viewership. That'll be amazing. Could you tell us what is an aspect of the business that you are most excited about today?
At the moment is watching it grow, watching the program just like make its way out there. I think that, and I think the podcast. I think the podcast is my like baby, and I love watching the stats on that.
Mhm.
Seeing where it's reaching, and who's listening, and even getting feedback. Like I've even had people recite back to me what it is that I've said in the podcast. So it's really
Wow.
working. It's really helping people, and I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. I love it.
That is incredibly validating. Yeah.
It is, and it's really humbling. I'm just like, wow, okay, so your vision really is coming to life. So I just say if I can do it, anybody can do it. Honestly. Yeah.
And how do you envision the field of life coaching evolving? And how do you plan to stay ahead of the curve?
How do I plan to stay ahead of the curve? I think it's just by, really understanding what it is that people are asking for and, working with them to be able to create what it is that people actually need right now, and what people are going through, whether it be society as a whole or individual. It's like learning also from other people to be able to make sure that the business keeps growing and keeps up with what is going on at the moment in the world.
And before
Yeah.
I let you go, Chantel, I've loved our conversation today, by the way. Just wanted to ask, what personal and professional goals are you looking forward to achieving in the near future?
Professional goals is, obviously expanding the business. I really want it to like really grow, really, really grow, um, you know, 10 times more than what it is at the moment. And personal goals. So a few personal goals I have is to travel more than I am at the moment. Um and I think another personal goal is probably to find love. Yeah, that's probably one of my goals at the moment. Big one. Yeah.
No, that's beautiful. I hope you get to travel a lot with your kids. I mean, I guess the traveling with the kids is the hardest part, right? But
I don't find that. I actually enjoy traveling with my
oh,
kids.
really? Okay.
Yeah, they're not troublesome at all. They're like, and they love it. Like, we love going on holiday, long haul, short haul. We don't care as long as we're on holiday. Yeah, we have a really good time together. So it works.
All
Yeah.
right. So, I mean, you're underway. I feel like now you're manifesting a lot more travels in your life now that you've put it out there in the universe. So maybe we can, like, have a new episode. We can see how life has changed for you. I would be really excited to do that. Well,
That
thank
will,
you
yeah.
so, so much, Chantal, for being on today's podcast. Is there anything else you'd love to share with our viewers or listeners before I let you go?
Yeah, I think if you really want something in life, just go for it. And really commit to yourself. Like, really do that work, and you'll be able to have whatever it is that you want. So yeah, remember that.
That's beautiful. Well, everyone who's been listening to us today, I will be sharing all the important links for Chantel for you to be able to find her down below in our description. And thank you so much once again for taking the time to grace our podcast and share your wisdom with our listeners, Chantel. I feel like this was my own personal session, to be quite honest with you. I feel like I've learned a
Oh,
lot. So thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who listened to us today. This has been your host, Patricia. And remember, for all your professional business and technical writing needs, there's only one way to go, and that's with the right direction. And if you're looking to, your healing journey, Chantel's here. Let's Find You Academy. Links will be down below. See you guys soon. And I wish you a great day ahead, a great week, month, and life ahead, Chantel. Thank you so much for speaking
thank
with me
you.
today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.